This is the Voice for Real Estate podcast. Whether you're buying a home, building a home, or designing a home, you'll meet the local experts who can provide all the information you need in every episode of Voice for Real Estate. And be sure to subscribe, share, and comment so you don't miss a single episode of Voice for Real Estate.
Here we are for another edition of Voice for Real Estate, but this one's a little special because we've got a special edition with Inside Voice for Real Estate, and it's called South Carolina Women in Real Estate. And with us here in this first edition, actually, Susie, of South Carolina Women in Real Estate, this is Suzie Smith. Susie, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Bill, how exciting. I'm very excited to be here, and it's super special to be the first one. So thank you so much.
It's really cool that I look forward to publishing that magazine, but you're on the cover spread. That's going to be cool. Yeah, so that was a fun shoot, wasn't it?
Yes, it really was. Very nice. Again, thank you. It's always great doing business with you.
Well, thank you. You're a Carolina girl, so you've seen everything along the coast happen from Myrtle Beach down here. But I did want to speak a little bit about you. So you got brothers and sisters?
I do. I am actually the baby of 4. So we were, my family's originally from Virginia, but we've been down here since I started the 2nd grade. So that certainly makes me feel like a Carolina girl.
Oh, definitely. Definitely, for sure. I have to go back to the baby of the family. As strong as you are and as direct as you are and as good as you are in real estate, that surprises me a little bit, you know?
Really?
But your team, let's talk about your team, because I know that's new for you. So you want to spend just a few minutes talking about your team?
I've been selling real estate for over 16 years, and I was really ready to just kind of do something a little different than on the day-to-day. I've always been an independent agent, and my career before this was managing teams of people and training teams of people, which I really enjoyed. And I had a good friend approach me with some interest in it. And I thought, this could be really fun to start a team and bring some people on that are very interested in the profession and that I can help train and get them up to speed. And, you know, they can hopefully enjoy a career that I've enjoyed and be successful in it and help others in their pursuit of buying a home or an investment property or anything along those lines. Because I know profession is not only fun, but very rewarding.
Well, part of your goal, part of the reason you wake up in the morning is to help people. And I know that because I've known you a long time. And that's a great motive when you're doing any kind of business, is to help people. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. Real estate, as you know, is ever changing, right? Especially these days. But what do you see happening like right now? Like we're going in the last quarter of 2022. What do you see going on right now?
Well, you know, the market, especially here, is a very hot topic for everybody, not just realtors, it seems. We've had a lot of talk about inventory. We've had a lot of talk about the market slowing down. The market is a little bit different this year than it's been in the past couple of years, where we saw a tremendous amount of activity and is what essentially ate our inventory up, all of the buying that took place primarily in the last 2 years, but starting in 2018, moving into 2021, our inventory just got gobbled up. So we're still going to have a great year in real estate. It's not going to be a record year like our last 2 have been, but it's going to be higher than our average record year, if you will. You know,
well, let's hear some numbers, Susie.
I'll just tell you, on average, we would normally carry about 8,500 homes on our market here. We have 2,500 right now, and 2,500 has only been in the last few months. We started this year right around 1,000. We actually dipped under 1,000 homes on our market in our whole MLS, Bill.
You're talking about the Charleston metro area, correct?
I am. Yes, sir. Which goes from Somerville to Moncks Corner to McClellanville to the Ace Basin and everything in between. Mount Pleasant, the islands, Charleston, West Ashley, Johns Island, all of that. We had less than 1,000 listings, which is extremely low for us, which caused a lot of, frenetic activity in the market. We saw all the multiple offers on houses. That has slowed down a little bit. There's not the frenzy that there used to be. Now, we are still seeing multiple offers, but we're not seeing them in numbers like 8 and 10 or more on one individual home.
Podcast advertising is the new way to reach your best audience. Podcast advertising gives your business a voice of authority. Be heard. Advertise on one of our podcasts. Visit carolinapodcasts.com or call 843-345-7012.
You're listening to the Voice for Real Estate podcast, a conversation about coastal Carolina real estate.
What about the pricing and the increase of prices over the last, let's say, 30 or 60 days?
30 to 60 days, I don't know if we've seen a real impact on pricing in that. What we have seen, again, looking at 20 and 21 being record years, both for sales and for appreciation. And that appreciation came because of multiple offer situations, right? People offering way higher amounts than list price because trying to beat out the next buyer. So that started us off on this year with higher prices than we've ever had. Our market increased by 18% from last year to this year. Areas like Mount Pleasant increased by over 30% in 1 year from 2021 to 2022. We don't see that going back. Now, we might see some price reductions because, as you know, Bill, in every market, everybody thinks, oh my gosh, I can just price my house wherever I want to. That's not the case. The buyers still need to get the value for the dollar they're paying. And so we are going to see some price reductions from people who tried to jump that gun, but we're not going to see massive price reductions across the board. And that's primarily due to inventory. We don't have the inventory that's going to flood our market that will cause prices to come down.
Well, let's talk about a buyer. If I'm a buyer in the last 24 months, what is the common thread? Is there a common thread? What's similar from buyer to buyer?
I don't know that there is a common thread. Right now, we're seeing a lot of investors in the market. We're seeing a lot of cash in the market. We're seeing a lot of people moving in from out of state that during the pandemic, a lot of people, realize they don't have to be where they work. They can work from a distance. A lot of people coming from out west that didn't have the availability of open space like we offer here with the beaches and our parks and everything. They were living in areas that were so completely shut down by the pandemic that they had to get out. I would say right now I'm seeing a little more local activity than I did in the last couple of years. But again, a lot of investors and a lot of people moving up and moving down from larger.
So if I was a buyer, Susie, no matter if I was out of town or local, what would your advice be?
My advice is it's still a good time to buy. For the first time ever, we have found ourselves in both a seller's market and a buyer's market. And here's why. Sellers are still getting a very high and a very good price for their home. But at the same time, buyers are buying a home. And I have buyers that purchased in December of 21 or January of 22, and they have already reaped the benefits of appreciation and buy 100,000 or more on their property. So you can still get a good price as a seller, but you can still get a home that's going to appreciate and have you building equity in it almost right away. And again, that's an indication of our market and the inventory because we are so low in inventory as a nation.
As long as I've been aligned with your industry, I've never seen where an agent such as yourself would say it's a buyer in a seller's market. That's fascinating.
It's the first time ever we have found ourselves in this position.
So a seller. So if somebody's thinking about selling their home, what kind of advice would you give them? Because we were talking about buyers. What about sellers?
Don't be afraid to sell. A lot of people say they're afraid to sell because they don't know where they're going to go. One of the features of this market is we're seeing a lot of contracts where the seller will need to stay in the home beyond the closing date because they have to find a place to go. And we're making that happen. You know, we can always figure out how to make a deal work if two people are interested in one selling, one buying. We can always make that happen. But don't be afraid. It depends on who you're working with. You need to work with a solid agent that can help negotiate on your behalf and put those things in place where you have the time to be able to sell, you know, close so that you have the money to purchase on the other end. We have so much equity in our homes right now, Bill. Everybody across the nation, they've been building equity since 2008. People can take that money and put it down on their next purchase. So even with the interest rates being higher, they're not necessarily having to pay a lot more monthly because they have so much money to be able to put down on it. That's what we're seeing a lot of.
Susie, I've always been curious in this heated environment, and even though it's cooled down slightly, it's still very, very active. Have you come across any love letters to the sellers that kind of sway the process? Have you seen any?
You know, we can't actually use those, Bill.
I know, but have you seen them though?
Not this year. I haven't seen any this year. I did see some in the last 2 years. But because of fair housing, we really can't use those in our transactions because that could sway somebody to pick somebody over somebody else, and that's not considered fair.
You're basically saying that now's a good time to sell.
Yes. Now's a great time to sell because of all the appreciation that people have built up in their homes. So they get a lot of equity in the sale of their home. So it's a great time to sell. But what I would say is, you know, as I mentioned earlier, you need to work with a professional. You need to work with somebody that's going to come in, help you get your home prepared for the market, potentially. And when I say staged, I don't always mean bringing in a stager, but working with the seller to make sure their home presents as well as it possibly can, even with their own belongings in there. That's important because, again, you have to provide value for the price that you're offering the home. And somebody's not going to want to pay top dollar on a home that just hasn't had basic maintenance completed on it, you know, or is in really rough condition.
Susie, one of the things I'm intrigued about you personally is that you've been with the same company for how many years?
16 and a half. Mm-hmm.
Tell us why and who I'm talking about.
Well, I'm with Carolina One Real Estate, and I did start my career with them, and I have stayed with them because of the values that they have as a company. Our clients are first and foremost. Our training is top notch, and they keep training available consistently. They provide us with information about what's going on in the market, about our contracts coming out. We have an entire service organization. We offer mortgages. We offer counseling, insurance. Yeah, we're a full service agency. And so when I feel like I'm representing my client, whether it's the seller or the buyer, I have a lot of backup behind me. And I can always reach out to somebody in my company, whether it's a broker or whether it's a legal counsel that we keep on staff, to make sure that my clients are always protected through all of their transactions.
Well, I know I've been in conversations with you, and you've had to interrupt the conversation because the attorney from the office call. So I thought that was pretty cool to have an in-house attorney that you can use.
I think so too, and it's invaluable.
We appreciate you're part of the South Carolina Women in Real Estate. Can you explain why you decided to be part of that?
Because the majority of people in this profession are women. And the great thing about it is that it's not a cutthroat group of people. It's women that really care about each other. They care about their clients. We want to work together to make this a great environment for all. Agents have to really work together, and being friends with agents and knowing them and really working together for our clients to make things happen is the best scenario you can possibly have. So joining a group like you've put together is vital for everybody's experience.
I saw that camaraderie too at the photo shoot when we were shooting the cover and what was going on. Of course, being in the cotton dock on Boone Hall Plantation didn't hurt either.
No, it didn't, not at all.
But Susie, thanks for being part of South Carolina Women in Real Estate. Thanks for joining us here on Voice for Real Estate, and I've appreciated you're an ally of the things we do, and I appreciate your membership in the South Carolina Women in Real Estate.
I thank you, Bill. I really appreciate it. Please let me know if I can ever help.
Thanks for watching Voice for Real Estate, where you meet local experts who provide timely information in every episode. Be sure to subscribe, share, and comment. Find Voice for Real Estate online at voiceforrealestate.com.